After all of that chaos, DOGE is claiming that it has closed 3% of the federal budget gap, although it's probably more like half of 1%. So okay. DOGE has not clawed back a single penny for the American taxpayer, and it never will. That's not how it's set up. It is canceling planned spending for future dates. DOGE is claiming to have canceled $55 billion worth of planned future spending. And to show how they come up with that number, they created this website called the Wall of Receipts. This Wall of Receipts is an itemized list of grants and contracts that the federal government got itself into in the past that it is now planning on just walking away from per Elon Musk. Problem with it is other government agencies, private citizens, and journalists have been going through the list trying to get to $55 billion, and they just can't make it happen. Apparently, as of right now, in actuality, it looks like the number is going to be closer to $8 billion. The reason why the number is difficult to calculate is not because addition is hard. It's because most people don't understand how government contracts and grants work. Receiving a grant does not mean that the government just cut you a check. Receiving a government research grant works like this. You and a large group of other researchers are competing and applying for a pool of money. If you are one of the lucky winners who is selected to get a cut of that money, you get a document from the government called an award letter. An award letter is not money. An award letter is a piece of paper that says, okay, research institution, you are going to pay all the costs up front, and if you do the thing that you claim you're going to do in your research proposal and can prove to us that you did it, we will give you a certain amount of money to pay you back. And that money is rarely handed over in one big check. It's paid off in little snippets called disbursements. So these research grants work more like this. You receive an award letter that says you have been granted $1 million. But first you have to do half of the work. So you spend 6 months doing half of the work. You go back to the government. You prove you did that work. You receive then half of your $1 million. You spend another 6 months doing the other half of your work. Then you go back to the government. You prove that you did your half of the work. And then you get your check for your other $500,000. But wait, it gets even more complicated, because in some situations, those research institutions can split that grant up into subgrants. Like, say, for example, the engineering department at the University of Texas applies for a $4 million research grant and then splits it up into 4 subgrants amongst 4 different professors. In that scenario, we now have 5 different award letters for the same pool of money. You've got the $4 million awarded to the university by the government, and then 4 $1 million grants awarded by the university to the individual professors. You get how this can get confusing, right? Like, if you don't know how to read financial documents because you're a 22-year-old intern working for DOGE, you're going to look at that scenario and think that there's $8 million there. There isn't. And then think about the disbursement timings, right? I might see an award letter that says, oh, this is a contract for $1 million. I canceled the contract for $1 million, but I don't realize that we already paid out half of it. So it's not really a $1 million savings now, it's a $500,000 savings. All of this is why the amateurs over at DOGE cannot figure out how much money they have actually saved anybody. But all of that being said, does any of it fucking matter? Like, in the best case scenario, according to DOGE's own numbers, it has saved $55 billion worth of planned spending in the future. Fine. Last year's budget gap at the national level, the federal budget gap, was $1,830 billion, which means in the best case scenario, they have saved us 3% of what we would need to have a balanced budget. In reality, they've probably saved us half of 1%. DOGE is not serious. It is fake. It is a scam. It is a stunt. The only people who are impressed with it are little boys who can't do math. It has struggled politically and legally to come up with 3% of the savings that it claims it could do. Elon promised to bring this chainsaw to the table. He is still working his way up to being able to handle this one.